Today, we're going to talk about something we all feel, but we probably don't really get what's going on underneath. I'm talking about stress, and we're going to see how it's not just in your head. It's a physical force that is literally actually reshaping your brain. So let me ask you, does any of this sound familiar? You know, the restless nights, feeling kind of snappy and irritable for no reason, forgetting where you put your keys, feeling totally overwhelmed? If you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. But what if I told you that all those feelings are really just the tip of the iceberg?
Okay, so first things first, we have to get one thing straight. Not all stress is the enemy here. There's a huge difference between the kind of stress that actually helps you and, well, the kind that really, really hurts you.
Think of it like this. On one side, you've got good stress. It's that short burst of energy you get before a big game or giving a speech. It's your friend. But on the other side, we have the villain of this story, chronic stress. This is the stuff that just goes on and on, being buried at work, fighting with people every day. And that is the kind that starts to physically mess with your brain's wiring. So let's go there. Let's actually pop the hood and take a look at what this nonstop long-term stress is really doing to the most important organ you've got.
And this is the part that's kind of wild. Chronic stress doesn't just feel bad, it physically alters your brain. We're talking its size, its structure, its entire function, all the way down to your actual genes. This is not just a feeling, it is a physical transformation.
And it's not random either. Stress is a sniper. It targets three really specific, really critical parts of your brain. You've got the amygdala, which is basically your brain's fear center. Then there's the hippocampus, your library for learning and memory. And finally, the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the CEO in charge of making decisions.
So first up is the amygdala. When you're under chronic stress, this fear center gets a serious workout. It actually gets bigger, more active. The result? You end up being more jumpy, more anxious. Basically, your brain's alarm system gets jammed in the on position.
At the same time, while your fear center is bulking up, your memory center, the hippocampus, starts to get weaker. The electrical signals that help you learn and remember things just don't work as well. This is literally why you get forgetful when you're stressed. The hardware for memory is being damaged. And then there's the CEO, your prefrontal cortex. Stress makes it lose connections, and it can actually shrink. So it gets way harder to concentrate, to make smart choices, even to just deal with people. It's really a triple threat. You're more fearful, your memory is worse, and you have less self-control. So the big question is, how? How does all this damage actually happen? Well, the answer is in this powerful chemical reaction. This cascade, all kicked off by one little hormone.
And that hormone is cortisol. People call it the stress hormone, but a better way to think about it is as your body's emergency alarm system. Its whole job is to get you fired up and ready for action when things get dangerous. And it's great at its job, in short bursts.
So here's how it's supposed to work. Your brain sees something stressful. That flips a switch on what's called the HPA axis, a direct line between your brain and your adrenal glands. That axis then floods your system with cortisol, getting you totally ready for fight or flight. And right here, this is the core of the problem. That alarm system is designed to turn off. But with chronic stress, it just stays on. And when you have high levels of cortisol pumping through you day after day, that's what causes all the damage. It's what makes the fear center grow and the memory and control centers shrink. Okay, but get this. The story doesn't even end with you. It's actually pretty shocking, but the way you respond to stress can be passed down to the next generation. I mean, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Can the things that happen to you actually change how your kids deal with stress? Well, a really fascinating experiment with rats gave us a pretty shocking answer. So check out this tale of two different groups of pups. Scientists found that baby rats with really nurturing moms, the ones who licked them a lot, grew more cortisol receptors in their brains. This basically meant they had a better off switch for stress. But the pups with neglectful moms, they developed fewer receptors, and they were more sensitive to stress their entire lives. What happened here is called an epigenetic change. Now, the mom's behavior didn't actually rewrite the pup's DNA. No. Instead, it acted like a light switch, telling certain genes to turn on and others to turn off. The code stayed the same, but the instructions were different. And here is the absolute bombshell from that study. Those gene switches, the ones flipped by that one mom's behavior, they were inherited. They got passed down for generations. The way that one mom treated her babies became a family legacy written into their biology.
Now, I know that all sounds pretty grim, but it is not all bad news, not even close, because just as your brain can be wired for stress, you have the power to rewire it for health. And this, right here, is the most important thing I want you to take away from this. The damage is not permanent. It is reversible. Your brain is built to adapt. You are not stuck. You can absolutely fight back and rebuild what was lost. And science has shown us two of the most powerful weapons we have in this fight, and they're so simple. They're accessible to pretty much everyone. We're talking about regular exercise and meditation, which is really just a fancy word for deep breathing and paying attention. And this just shows you the incredible power you have. Both exercise and meditation have been proven to lower your stress, and get this, they can actually increase the size of your hippocampus. Yes, the very same part of the brain that stress was shrinking. You can make it grow back. So what does that actually mean for you in real life? It means your memory gets better. It means you can learn new things again. And since the hippocampus helps control that whole stress alarm system, it means you get better at shutting off the stress in the first place. You're not just putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms, you're fixing the system. So we've seen it. We've seen how chronic stress can literally rewire your brain for anxiety. But we've also seen that you have the tools to rewire it right back. The power is completely in your hands. The only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?